Hello and welcome. So this week saw the release of the very primitive form of the Mariana Islands terrain. As you can see, I've got it installed. So this video will be mainly looking at that terrain. So let's jump in. So in the mission editor, this is what you're greeted with. A lot of ocean and only 5 of the 22 islands modelled. So at the bottom we've got Guam, the largest of the islands. Then it goes Rota. We've got Tinian and Saipan, and then we've got the tiny island of Guijan here, which has no population. Only 4 of the 22 islands are populated. So that would make a good bombing range if that is what you're after. So the very brief history lesson. The islands are named Mariana Islands after the Queen Mariana of Austria, which was in reign during the Spanish colonization back in the 17th century. So that's where the islands got the name from, and then they discovered the trench, and that's where the trench got the name from. So it's been passed down, not the other way around. A lot of dormant volcanoes in the region, situated in the North Pacific. Up in this direction is the Philippine Sea, and that's about it really for that. Bit of geography and a bit of history. So then you've got your Antonio B1 Pat International, you've got Anderson, and then obviously Rota, Tinian and Saipan. There are some, obviously it's in its infancy, this map, so there's a lot of detail still missing, and a lot of potential still to be unlocked, as I'll go into as I go through the islands. So we'll get into the sim proper and have a good look at the airports and the air bases. So we'll start with the Northern Islands and then work our way south. So here I am on the islands of Saipan. Below is Saipan International, and what you can see just over there in front of me is the Naval Base Golf and Resort, which is the only other standout part of the island that's really in any sort of detail at the moment. So we'll have a look at the airport. It's been modelled quite nicely. I mean, remember, it's only in the preliminary phase, so a lot of things can change. I've already read a lot of people are moaning about frames per second being hit, but you got to remember that not all the bugs are out of this at the moment, and there's still a lot of work to be done. But for what they've done to release the islands in the state that they're in, I think they've done a really good job. So yeah, obviously you've got Saipan International, nothing military about this airport, just for commuting and obviously international travel. Have a quick look around the island. So if we head towards Naval Base Golf and Resort, just over here. Nice big golf course that we can't play on, but for the moment the level of detail, I mean, obviously if we zoom, if we go and basically sit on the fairway, it's not going to look brilliant, but you're going to be flying, so level of detail at the moment is not the #1 priority. At least we have another free map to play on, so no reason to be moaning at all, in my opinion. And we have another look across the islands. Nice little sunset going on. So yeah, this is Saipan. As you can see, there's even a little frames per second hit as I just rotate around. And over here we've got another golf resort. and little villages in very nicely done. So on to the next island. Next is the island of Tinian. A lot smaller. Obviously Tinian International there in the centre. Up there is Northfield Tinian. This is an old B-29 base that was used during World War II. In state of disrepair at the moment, but it did see one last movement back in 2013 when a KC-130 managed to land on one of the runways during an exercise, exercise Forager Fury 2. So this, again, it's not going to be full of detail, but for what we have, is very good. Obviously you've got harbour there, so you can base some naval ships there. Tinian International is very minimal, couple of parking spaces if that, one taxiway and one runway. So we'll have a look at Northfield. You'll see that there's a current trend going along with these islands. Each military base is named after what direction of the island it is at. So Northfield Tinian, and Guam, on Guam, before it was called Anderson Air Force Base, was called Northfield Guam. So here we have Northfield Tinian. As you can see, still a lot of work to be done on this. Obviously the mesh needs sorting out, and some of the surface detail, but yeah, at least it's here. So yeah, that's an added bonus of Northfield Tinian. So on to Rota. Here we are on the island Rota. Rota International there in the middle, with the town of Sinapalu, and just down here below me is the Rota Resort and Country Club. As you can see, it's supposed to be a golf course, but again, still a lot of work to be done to that. And then one last point of interest, just to show you, is this little what do you call it, a peninsula type thing. This little thing here that's jutting out from the island is called Wedding Cake Conservation Area, for obvious reasons. As you can see, there's a little bit more detail to that. So they have paid attention to some of the points of interest. So next, I guess the next island will be Guam. So here we are on Guam. We'll start from the southern end of the island and work our way up. So from the south we have a lot of conservation wildlife areas, and then as we work our way towards the middle, we have the Fenner Valley Reservoir here. Next to that, which doesn't seem to be modelled 100%, this is all part of the naval base, which is over in that direction. This looks like ammo storage areas, very basic at the moment. If we work our way over here, this is all naval admin buildings, accommodation, things like that. Here's the main naval base itself. Great place to stage your aircraft carriers, battleships. I'm not great on naval hardware, so whatever you would use, great staging point. And then over here, all still part of the naval base, we have a small heliport, naval base area, and some parking spaces for helicopters. For some reason this place is called Ulf Oralt, but it definitely is Naval Base Guam. So yeah, that's that's the southern part of the island. We'll work our way up to the next airport. As we move more central on the island of Guam, this is the main passenger terminus if you're flying in the Antonio B. Wonpat International Airport, surrounded by the village of Tamuning. So yeah, this is passenger central if you're coming here on your holiday. As you can see, a lot of buildings, quite a lot of detail. As I say again, it's still early doors, so it's not going to be 100%. And on top of the terminal there we have "Welcome to Guam, USA," because we all know that the Marianas Islands are part of the United States Commonwealth. Any citizen born in the Marianas is a US citizen. So yeah, another bit of pointless information for you there. So yeah, that's Antonio International, and then we get to the best part, the northern sector. Welcome to the north of the island, and what was North Field, now Anderson Air Force Base, in front of your eyes. I mean, the sheer size of this place is beyond comprehension. Absolutely huge. The sheer amount of firepower, bombing power, refueling power, fighter power that can be staged from this one base is beyond anything that I can think of anywhere else on the planet. It just hangarage for B2s, and it's just so much ramp space, it's ridiculous. And the fact that it has 2 runways sort of gives you the signal that this isn't a quiet place to visit. So the eastern side of the airfield is done to quite a high degree of detail. Comparing it to pictures on Google and also on Google Maps, it's pretty accurate. Done very well. The hangars on the airfield are spot on, as are the fighter pens over here, and the other utility buildings are just very, very well done. The ammo complexes could still use a little bit of work, and probably will get some work done to them. Just like I say, the sheer size of this place is enormous. All I've done just for giggles is put a couple of B2s out on the pan. I know they wouldn't be sitting out there, they'd be in hangarage, but that's just me having a little bit of fun. Fun times. So yeah, this is Anderson Air Force Base. This thing on multiplayer is going to be ridiculous. I mean, it's going to be get in line, boys, because it's going to be busy. And once they start figuring out the frames per second issue and give a bit more detail of a certain little airfield over there in the corner that I'm going to travel over to in a second, will make things even more enjoyable. So I mean, this at the Anderson Air Base complex is huge, and it runs from over there, covers the whole airfield. Then you've got ammo storage all over here in the trees. As you can see, I'm just coming into view now, so I've really done a strange time. So all of that ammo storage, and then for some reason I have quite a big attraction to this part of the island, Northwest Field. Now I guess because of what it's being used for at the moment. As you can see, the mesh is all over the place. Obviously, level of detail not brilliant. We have a radar station that's part of the complex up here, but if you look on Google Maps, you will see that one of the runways has been resurfaced to a point, and it'd be this runway here. At the beginning of the year, the name of the Cope North 21, they resurfaced this runway so they could get F-16s and F-35As down on the ground for turnaround, rearm, refuel, to simulate being in a dispersal, basically, to sort of prove it could be done. And the only other thing that they had to bring in was portable arrestor gear. Not an issue. Peg it down and you've got yourself a little airfield. But once this area gets up to scratch, that'll be a lot of fun as well. Just purely from a challenge. Obviously the runways are a lot shorter, a lot narrower, and obviously you're surrounded by jungle, which funnily enough are patrolled by specialist jungle teams, keeping the place safe. And I think they also have an urban complex over here that's disused, that they can, I mean, you could base the Army, the Navy, the Marines and the Air Force on Guam, and it's just one big training area. And what was left over from World War II just being converted into things to play around in. It's just mind-boggling once you delve into the history of the island and where it's going in a military perspective. But yeah, Northwest Field. Yeah, look up North Cope 21. You'll have a good read about that. And I know the United States Marine Corps are also looking at using the field to sort of train their FA-18s and F-35Cs on short field capabilities. So yeah, this area is going to see a lot of use in the next few years. Anyway, that's the Marianas Islands. They're going to be a lot of fun. But for now, still in its infancy, still a lot of bugs, still a lot of work to be done. But you got to look on the flip side. It's a free map. Anyone coming into DCS now has Caucasus and Marianas, plus the TF-51, SU-25T, T-45, A4, and the sheer number of things that are out there that are free now. I mean, if only it was like this back in the beginning when I first started. But yeah, if you haven't got the islands yet, obviously get them because they're free. Why not? No reason not to have them. And have a little nosy around yourself. Well done, Eagle Dynamics, and here's to the future of the terrain. Excellent stuff. So if you got this far, which I'm probably thinking most of you haven't, thank you for watching. Homer Simpson likes to play with pianos. And as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.